This is the Gotrax Dolphin 26-inch electric bike. Right off the bat, this bike caught my eye because of its step-through frame and the overall sleek, practical design. I picked it up mostly for city commuting and light trails, and after spending real-time riding it in different settings, I want to share my honest thoughts, especially for folks who might be brand new to e-bikes or are just trying to find something that's practical for daily use. Talking about the shape and feel, the Gotrax Dolphin looks pretty modern, but also has a classic, clean vibe. The frame is aluminum, so it's lighter than some other e-bikes I've tried, but it's still no featherweight at about 49 pounds, which I'll circle back to. It's painted in a sharp white that makes it stand out, but what really sold me was the step-through design. This style makes getting on and off the bike no problem, which is great for anyone who might not want to swing their leg over a tall bar. The handlebars are curved back a bit for a comfortable upright ride, and you can adjust both the handlebars and the seat. I'm about average height and found that tweaking these made a huge difference in comfort, especially during longer rides. Now, let's talk about what using the bike actually feels like from my experience. Powering this bike is a 350-watt brushless motor. That means it's strong enough to get up to 20 miles per hour with the throttle, or you can ease off and just use pedal assist to save some juice. I was honestly surprised by how smooth the acceleration felt. It's not jumpy, and for city traffic, that's perfect. The pedal assist has 5 levels, which just means you can control how much the motor helps you as you pedal. So if you want some exercise, you can keep it in lower assist, and if you're tired, just bump it up. The 7-speed Shimano system is straightforward and shifts nicely. Great if you're like me and sometimes want to just cruise, but sometimes need to tackle a bit of a hill. I will say having the thumb throttle on this model is really useful, especially at red lights or when starting up a hill. On days when I was tired or just lazy, I've definitely leaned on the throttle-only mode. On battery, you get a 280.8 watt-hour lithium battery that's removable, which is super practical. You don't have to drag the whole bike into your apartment or garage. Just take the battery pack out and charge it inside. It took me about 5.5 hours to charge it from empty, which is pretty standard for bikes in this category. In real-world use, I found I got pretty close to the claimed 30 miles in pedal assist mode, and around 15 or so using just throttle mode. My commute's about 7 miles each way, and I had no trouble getting through a day or two without worrying about charging. If you plan to push it for longer rides, especially in pure electric mode, you'll want to keep an eye on the battery, but for general city use, it's more than enough. There's front suspension built into the fork, which helps a lot with city potholes or rougher bike paths, though it's not adjustable. Basic, but it gets the job done, and for casual riders or commuters, that's probably all you need. I felt comfortable going over rougher sections, and it's way nicer than rigid forks when dealing with the odd curb cut or bumpy road. The brakes are mechanical disc brakes, front and back, dual disc system. Mechanical brake means there's a cable, not fluid like hydraulic brakes, but honestly, they stop the bike well. I always felt in control, even coming down slopes or when needing to brake in traffic. For most new riders and commuters, these brakes are reliable and easy to maintain. There's a boost mode you can turn on that helps a lot if you're pushing the bike up a hill while walking it, or just need a little extra help getting started. Not something I use every day, but when I needed it, it worked as advertised. I think for folks who have to deal with hills where they live, the motor power and boost feature will be huge positives. What I really like, let's get into the standouts. The comfort is probably the biggest thing for me. That might sound basic, but honestly, an e-bike that isn't comfortable just ends up gathering dust. The adjustable seat and handlebars let me get the riding position just how I wanted, and the step-through frame made it easy to hop on and off, especially with a loaded backpack or bag. The ride quality is smooth thanks to the shock-absorbing fork and those medium-width 26-inch tires. They're not huge, knobby tires, but they're solid for both city pavement and the occasional park path. The removable battery is a huge perk as well. Just being able to take it inside made life so much easier, especially for apartment dwellers or folks without a garage. I also appreciate the pedal assist and throttle options, plus the Shimano gears that make the bike versatile for different situations. I use pedal assist when I want some exercise, then switch to throttle when I want to take it easy. Another thing I want to highlight is how approachable the bike is for new riders. There's no complicated display, just basic power level indicators and simple controls to change pedal assist, throttle, or activate the walk mode. In my opinion, That simplicity makes the ride less intimidating, especially if you're new to e-bikes. On the downside, there are a couple of pain points worth mentioning. That 49-pound weight is noticeable whenever you have to carry or lift the bike. Taking it up a flight of stairs isn't fun, so if your living situation requires hauling the bike a lot, it might get old quick. I also found that without built-in lights or fenders, I had to spend a little extra getting my setup right for night riding and rainy days. I added my own headlight and basic tail light, but it would have been nice if those were included, especially since commuter bikes usually come with them these days. The pedals are metal and feel pretty solid, but they're not as wide as I'd like, so that's something I might change out for personal taste. Another small thing, when assembling, I did have to adjust the brakes myself to get them just right. So if you've never handled bike setup, you might want to shop to give it a quick check. The pure electric range is not huge. If I only used throttle and didn't pedal, I could get about 15 miles on a single charge, which is fine for short trips but wouldn't stretch for a big day out. I'd recommend this for anyone with a moderate commute or who just plans on casual rides. If you want to do long rides on weekends without pedaling much, just know you'll want to budget in some charging time or get a second battery. In conclusion, I think the Gotrax Dolphin 26-inch electric bike nails the basics for anyone looking to get started with e-bikes. From my experience, it's perfect for daily commuting, neighborhood rides, or anyone wanting something comfortable and easy to ride. I'd recommend this for folks who want a reliable and straightforward e-bike, especially if you're a beginner or just need a second bike for errands and leisure. You get a good mix of practical features, a simple riding experience, and enough comfort to make everyday riding enjoyable. Check the comments of this video for a link to see the current pricing of the Gotrax Dolphin 26-inch electric bike.